All right, we're recording. All right, so welcome everybody to another edition of Getting Ready for the Recovery. It's a DeKalb County Unites webinar series that we've got going on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. My name is Cohen Barnes. I'm a small business owner here in DeKalb. I own Sundog IT. With me today, I have Courtney Strohacker with the DeKalb County Convention and Visitors Bureau. She's going to help me with the Q&A portion of this. And then we also have Dr. Jacques Somiz. He's with the Small Business Development Center as part of the Waubonsie College and Kishwaukee College. Those two are on a lot of these webinars just to help us make them as successful as possible, and also to make sure that we get every one of your questions asked during this. So how do you ask a question, right? Just move your mouse down to the bottom of your screen, and you're going to see a little Q&A button that's going to pop up. Go ahead and click on that, type in your question, and we're going to go make sure it gets answered. Because this is not just a lecture webinar series. Those that have been on, it's all about the Q&A, and it's you the questions that you want. We do have an occasional dog bark and a baby cry, but I think we're all used to it with shelter in place at this point, so no big deal at all. Really quick, what is DeKalb County Unites? DeKalb County Unites is a grassroots movement that was created by members of Northern Illinois University, the government sector, the nonprofit sector, the private sector. A bunch of us just got together last minute, and we realized when the COVID-19 crisis hit that there was going to be a huge impact to the small business community when shelter in place happened. And we decided to get together to figure out how we could drive a positive economic impact to the small business community. So we did 3 initiatives that are the core. We've done a lot of things beyond that, but there's 3 really important ones. One, our website, which is posted, has a wide variety of resources up there, especially links to a lot of the stimulus money and other financial resources available to small businesses. So please go there, wade through it, check it out, and I guarantee you're going to end up learning something from that website. The website also has links to our past webinars, which I'd highly recommend kind of go through, because you're going to find a couple in there that are going to apply to no matter who is looking. There's something in there that you're going to really appreciate. Second thing that we did is we got together with the board of directors from the DeKalb County Economic Development Corporation, and board members got on the phone and called the major employers in our community to see if there was a way that they could start redirecting some of their spend to the local economy and accelerate some of their spend to the local economy, meaning they already had budgets established to buy X, Y, or Z. How can we get it where they could spend that money now in order to drive dollars into our small business community? We had over 50 large employers participate in that, which made a huge economic impact into our local economy, which is just absolutely fantastic and warmed my heart when I got to see that firsthand. And then the third thing that we're doing is this webinar series. As I mentioned, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 o'clock right now, we have those. Mondays, we have Mark Kerman from Seifert & Company and Frank Roberts from First National Bank of Omaha. They're on to talk about PPP. And we're getting into the point where people are going to start having more questions about forgiveness. So I'd highly encourage you to check on our website, DeKalbCountyUnites.com, and look for links for the Monday webinar. And I would really recommend attending those, because I talk to small business owners continuously that still are a little confused on how some of this works, and the forgiveness piece is really important. Wednesdays, we have content matter experts like we do today with the Morningstar Media Group team. And then Fridays, we've been doing a small business spotlight, where we're bringing in small business from our community that have done an exceptional job adapting to the current times. And they share some of the tips and tricks that they have with all of us. And I learn something each and every time. So enough of that. I did want to welcome Morningstar Media Group here today. And I thought Darby and Ashley, if you guys could just maybe introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about Morningstar Media Group, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Darby, if you want to start.
Really great. Hi, everybody. I'm Darby Dwyer with Morningstar Media Group. I'm the Director of Sales. I have been with Morningstar for 16 years. Hopefully, many of you have driven past our new building. We're over on California now, next to Kuroko Coffee. And so we're certainly reinvesting in the community and trying to sort of broaden our scope locally and make ourselves available to you all locally more and more. Ashley Marcia is here with us. Ashley is a social media ninja. She knows everything and anything there is to know about social media and can answer any questions you may have. Ashley has been in marketing for 20 years.
20 years.
I got it.
Good job.
Has worked at very large agencies and handled very large clients, and is been with Morningstar for 7 or 8 years now.
4 years.
Feels like, wow.
Yeah.
He's an expert. So Ashley, if you need to say anything else?
I think you covered it. I'm really excited to share what we've got here today.
Awesome. Well, I can't thank you too enough, and I know I'm going to thank you again at some point, but I can't thank you enough for coming on today. Um, so today, for me, what I'm really hoping to walk away with, just personally, and then based off the questions that I've had from a lot of small businesses owners out there, and then ultimately, when I've secret shopped a couple local businesses, what I come across is, and there's one in particular, and I won't share who it is, but I Googled them, and there's a thing where when you Google a business, it shows you on the side that business, and Google has a special section for your business that you're supposed to claim.
Mm-hmm.
And it listed their website. I clicked on the website, took me to a golf course in like New Mexico, and it said they were closed. And if I wasn't paying attention, I would think they were closed, done, that's it. Went on social media to them, and their social media didn't have anything about the COVID-19 crisis and how to buy from them. And their website was the same website probably from a year ago. But yet I knew this person was trying to sell during the COVID-19 crisis. So this is a story, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's a story you see over and over again, that a lot of small business owners, they get so wrapped up in the day-to-day and just serving their clients when things were good, that when a crisis like this happens, not having the marketing in place and the communication mechanisms in place, no matter what, has greatly impacted them from a revenue perspective. But also trying to stay top of mind with their clients, it's impacted them. So I know there's some things that they could probably do right now, which is really important, but also the point of this conversation today, I think, is not just now, but what should they start on now in order to impact when shelter in place rescinds, and then also the future of being a small business owner and how important online communication is going to be. So I was just looking to you guys being the pros. We had Brian Oster from OC Creates on here a couple of weeks ago talking about a similar thing. But I'd just love to turn it over to you guys and help educate us on, as small businesses, what should we be doing right now during this crisis, and how is it going to impact us going forward? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And Ashley, I'm going to talk about a little bit about that, the whole Google side of that. And if you would talk about some of the social side of that, that'd be great. And I'll let you start.
Of course. All right. So social media. You've got the next 10 to 15 minutes to pay attention and focus in on that, kind of get your mind wrapped around Facebook and other fun social media outlets. That's what we're going to talk about here for the next couple of minutes. So social media, obviously, we all know what it is. We all know that it's out there. Some of us are very ingrained in it, and some of us are, it's a little scary. What I'm here to hopefully help with is that it's not anything to be too scared about, and it is right, and especially right now, one of the easiest and most cost-effective ways that you can have a relationship, build a relationship, and communicate with your existing customer base and prospective customers as well, particularly in a local community like Sycamore and DeKalb and Sandwich and Genoa and all of DeKalb County. So it might be time to, if you haven't already, it might be time to dip the toe in the water. So I know a couple weeks ago, Brian from OC Creates was here and talked a little bit about social media, and it was a fantastic presentation. I'm going to build on some of that. A lot of what we're going to talk about here today is going to focus kind of on that like summer and beyond. But before we get too far ahead, we are still in May, and we are still in shelter in place or stay in place orders. So what do we want to be doing right now to help you prepare for June, July, August, and beyond? So really focusing on Facebook for this first part of the conversation. Leveraging your Facebook page is so important. It is the way that you can talk right now directly to your customers, directly to your prospective customers, and the community at large. It's very important to leverage it. To have a Facebook page is absolutely free. You don't have to spend any money on having that business page. So if you don't have one, I highly recommend that right after we get off this call today, you start getting that set up. The next big question that we hear is, well, I've got this page, but I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to say. And in any normal, we get those questions in any normal environment, and we all know that this is not normal. So what do we talk about, especially right now, especially if you're perhaps a business that is closed temporarily, or that you've adapted or you've pivoted your business model, your sales model. What can you be talking about that's valuable on Facebook? Still continue to talk about how you're the local expert. Continue to tout the things that you do and that you do better than anybody else. Talk about how you're still serving your customers. Again, if you adapted your business, if you pivoted your business, how are you still helping to deliver your products and services to people in the community? Is it through virtual shopping, through FaceTime? Is it through curbside pickup? Is it free shipping? Whatever it might be, continue to get those message points out there so that your current customers can know that they can still shop with you, support you through this time. Another great idea to share is share your past projects, past successes, if within your business. One example that we have is we work with a landscaping company, and while right now people may not be ready to pull the trigger on spending a significant amount of money on something like a landscaping or a hardscaping project, we're still sharing those projects that they've done in 2019, 2018, because people want inspiration. They want to see those ideas, and they're sitting at home, they're planning, they're making plans for when we come out of this. And finally, too, as a local business, so many of us know each other, not only as businesses, but in our personal lives, through schools, through organizations. It's okay right now to share some of the personal that's going on in your life. People are craving that connection right now. Do you have a high school senior who just graduated from high school or that's going through that process right now? Did you have them dress in their cap and gown and take pictures on the front yard this last weekend? Share those and share how proud you are of that student and how proud you are of all the graduates. Did you have a birthday in the family and maybe you used another local business to help order food for that birthday? Share a picture from that birthday on your business page and give a shout out to that business. There's just a lot of different things right now. People like seeing those real stories. They're looking to look through their timeline on Facebook and see the happy right now. And you can be a part of that. And that sticks in people's minds and continues to create that relationship. One of the great examples that I actually saw today was from Lehan's. Lehan Drugs, one of their new pharmacists was unable to have her graduation ceremony. And they rolled out a red carpet in the middle of the store today, surprised her with a cap and gown, and had her walk the red carpet. They videoed it, they posted it. It has gone gangbusters today. So just another example.
Is there a balance, Ashley, like how much personal versus how much of your organization that you would recommend?
Sure. I think that like an 85-15 right now, business to personal is good. You don't want to make it into your personal timeline where you're sharing what you're doing every single day and your latest recipes that you've made in the kitchen. But adding that little bit of personal is a really good thing, particularly, like I said, with our local businesses. So many of us know one another through various means. And we like to see success even in people's personal lives too. So it's a good thing to share.
Actually, can you talk a little, just briefly in this, about video versus regular content? Because did you already have that on your?
I was going to talk about it, but I'm certainly happy to talk about it now. So Facebook loves video. That's just right there. They love video and they reward if you post video to your business page. And when I say reward it, I mean they're going to get it in front of more eyeballs without you putting $1 behind it than they would a static post with a photo. And when it comes to video on Facebook, there's a couple different options. You can always do Facebook Live if that makes you really nervous because everything is happening in real time. You can do that video on your phone and then upload it later. But video is a great way too to get all the sight, the sound, hearing the excitement in your voice, in your passion for what it is for your business, and helps further engage your customers too. So if you can do video, if you're comfortable doing video, it's a great thing to do. It doesn't have to be overproduced. it doesn't have to be. It actually, the more underproduced right now, especially, the better. It's showing that real, raw, kind of vulnerable side to all of us that we're all kind of feeling right now and all kind of going through. So
yeah, and so many small businesses I've talked to that have done video, they talk about they were terrified, just terrified, and it took them 5 or 6 takes to get one that they thought still sucked, right?
yeah, yeah.
But they all talk about then the next one was better, and
Yeah.
the next one was better. So all of you out there, you'll be scared to death most likely doing it. You'll think it's the worst thing ever. But to Ashley's point, just put it out there. People understand. They're really forgiving, especially right now, and they just want to know a little bit more about you. So tell your story.
Exactly. It's a fantastic way to tell your story. Again, you don't have to hit the Facebook Live button, because if that's way too scary, you've at least got the option to do it on your phone and then upload it later. So
Yeah, that's streaming live you're talking about.
It is. That is streaming live and in real time. You can delete it once you stop it, but it's going out onto your followers' feeds in real time so that they can watch it as you're recording it, or as you're filming it. So
Actually, really quick, we had a question come in on this subject, so I want to make sure we try to touch on it. Dana was wondering, how do you do Facebook Live on a business page? She said she's only been able to do it on her personal page. Is there a difference of business versus personal?
On your business page, if you go onto your business, you have to do it. You can only do it on the Facebook app. If you're on Facebook desktop, the technology is not there yet. So you have to be on the Facebook app on a mobile device. And if you click in the post area, like you're going to make a post on your page, there should be a go live icon that comes up, or a little red video camera that comes up. You're going to click on that. It's going to then take you to the video screen. It doesn't start right away, so you do have the control over to hit the start button. But it will, yes, thanks, Courtney. Go live. That's exactly what you need right there. You just hit that go live button. Make sure you get in the positioning you want, and also make sure that you have the camera in the correct orientation, whether it be you're wanting to do a selfie video, or whether you're wanting to video something else, and hit start and go for it.
Ashley, since you're talking about a business Facebook, is there a difference between business to business on Facebook as opposed to business to consumer, B2B and B2C? Sure. How would you handle that?
Sure. It's all in the content and all in what you're sharing. So B2B, you'd obviously think from the mind of your target audience, think from the mind of your current and your current clients, your current customers, and why is it that they're working with you? What are your differentiators? Sharing those in your posts or in your video, giving them a look behind the scenes if you're talking about video is a great thing to do. Because so many times we're interacting with each other. It can be through, I'm signing this piece of paper saying, yes, I want to buy this. Here's the check. And then I get the end product, but I don't necessarily know how that end product was created. So giving them a view into your day-to-day is a great thing to do when it comes to B2B. B2C, obviously, it's a completely different arena. You're going to be talking, again, still thinking from your target audience's perspective, thinking about the situations that they're in and why they might be buying your product or service, and addressing those. But then also showing that end product, showing how it's used, and even new ways that it can be used even on a consumer basis. So there's a lot of opportunities on a B2C level. I'm sure everybody saw it with Mother's Day. A lot of local businesses were posting, to encourage shopping locally for Mother's Day. I know Bloom and Gardens did, Lizzie's downtown did as well. A lot of people locally were really trying to help, get into that situation of the target audience's mind of, I've got to buy something for Mother's Day and I'd rather support local. So here's how we're helping that happen for you.
So we've got a bunch of questions on how people are having technical difficulties. Just all of you, if you've tried to do Facebook Live and you're having difficulty right now, put it on hold. Let's finish the webinar because there's going to be a whole lots of other information for you. And then you can YouTube how do you do Facebook Live, and you're going to find some great resources. And if that doesn't work, reach out, call me, and I'll help you figure it out. But we can do that after the webinar.
There you go. And then just finally, right now, before we jump ahead and start talking about summer, I know it's hard to kind of have it on your daily schedule, but definitely have it on your daily schedule to check in on your Facebook, your business Facebook page, at least once a day, if not multiple times a day, to make sure you're seeing any questions or comments that have come in from your fans, so that you can address those right away. Being responsive right now on your social media page is really, really important. And don't forget about that message inbox too, because people can communicate with you both of those ways through your Facebook page.
And shouldn't these small business owners also just post on there, another great day, I'm open at 1 o'clock and taking orders, curbside pickup, but communicating the basics, right? How you can engage, when you can engage, and how does it work?
Yes, absolutely. There's obviously with your business page, you can change your business settings on there. You can change if you're a brick and mortar location, what hours you're open. That can obviously be changed, but not everybody sees that information. So yes, posting how you're available, how people can still support you, how they can buy from you is very, very important. How you're still serving your customers is really, really important to make sure you're continuing to get that out there.
Ashley, can if I have a Facebook page, can I be notified when somebody posts something?
Yes, that's in the notifications within Facebook that you do have to set.
Both business and personal.
Yes.
Okay, so if I do want to see if someone's leaving something for me, I should put that notification button on.
Correct. Yes. Okay. Yes. There are some you can request to have those notifications to you sent through Facebook, through the Facebook app, or through the Facebook platform if you're on desktop. You can also identify the request to have it set up to email you. I personally find that it's easier to just have it come to Facebook because the email, that's email on top of email. So it's easier for me to personally keep track of it by having it come through my Facebook notifications.
So just a quick comment before you go on, Ashley, just so that you guys are aware. Lauren said she's watching the webinar on her phone and the slides are too small. She can't read them. So just so you're aware moving forward.
Would we be able to share these with attendees?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, we'll email them out to everyone later on today, to everyone that attended the webinar, so you've got them, Lauren.
Sounds good. Okay, so once your Facebook is in good shape, and we're getting into summer, and hopefully we are moving through some reopening phases, you still want to keep doing what we just talked about on the last slide. Make sure that you are building that relationship, posting regularly and consistently on your Facebook page, making sure that you are talking to your customers, talking to your prospective customers. But it is a really good time to start experimenting. And when I say experimenting, there's different platforms we can turn to, and there's also advertising. The first thing that you can start working with and start trying out is getting some more local eyes on your content with Facebook advertising. And that, particularly in a local community like Sycamore, like within DeKalb County, it's not expensive. It doesn't take a huge budget to be able to get a very significant number of eyes on your messaging. We're talking $5, $10 a day. So if you've got a post out there that's talking about, hey, this week we're going to be in the store Monday through Saturday, 8 to 4, you need anything, stop by, we can help you, we're offering curbside service. Throw $5 a day at that and get that out there to more eyes. A really important thing to know about Facebook is that your followers, a portion of your followers are going to see your posts that go on your page. But if you add a little bit of money to it, you have a likelihood to expand beyond just those followers that are following your page to people who don't follow your page that are also in the community. Yeah.
you mind sharing that that's like a 1 to 3% number, right? Am I accurate?
Correct. So if you look at the number of people who like your business page on Facebook, right now, when you put a post out on your page, approximately 1 to 2% of the people who like your page are going to see that post in their news feed without putting any money behind it. So obviously Facebook is a business and they're in the business to try to get some advertising dollars, but there are ways that you can do it really in a really cost-effective way to get that message out to more people.
So if you have 500 friends and you post something on Facebook and you're really followers and you're very excited for them to see that, understand that organically only 5 to 10 people are typically going to see that post if you do not do anything to financially support that post.
And if it's not shared by other people, there's a cumulative effect. If you, let's say you go to your personal Facebook page and you share your business page's post on your personal page, well, then that's going to go into your individual friends are going to see that. So you're going to see your numbers go up without putting money behind it. Just from other organic ways that you can get more eyes on it. But you can still, with Facebook, you can get a significant number of additional eyes on your messaging with relatively low cost per day.
And a strategy we've been hearing a lot from small businesses that have pooled their resources together, or they're collaborating together. Probably collaborating is the better way. If you had a post that is just I need to get the word out, reach out to other small business owner friends and ask them if they would share your post on their social media as well. And then don't forget about your staff. Ask them if they would share it on their social media. So not only the boost is fantastic, or the advertising is fantastic, definitely, but then on top of that, reach out to people you know and ask them to help you get the word out, because you're just getting in front of more people at that point, and that's the whole point of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's absolutely what we encourage. So, so then in addition to Facebook advertising, what else can you experiment with? Well, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. If you've heard of all of these are other social platforms that are really, really great to try and take just experiment with. Try it out. If it works, makes sense with your target audience. Instagram is probably the best next step after Facebook to try out. But download the apps, set up an account. Teach yourself how to use these. YouTube is a great resource for videos on how to use any of these social platforms, and just see if you can get some extra following out there with it, and try them out, because you never know. It may not work right now, but we don't know what's going to come 6 months, 9 months, 12 months down the line. And not only socially with other shelter-in-place orders, but how your business might have to continue to adapt and pivot into where you might be then targeting some new target audiences with these different platforms that you're on. To Cohen's point, this is also a great time to connect. Make sure that you're going out and following other fellow local businesses and local organizations as your business page. It's really important. It shows that tight community support and community engagement. That business can see that you followed them, and dedicate a little bit of time each day to go through your platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and connect with other businesses locally. Take a look at fellow businesses' profiles. Give them a like, give them a comment, or share a great post that they have done on your business page, just to keep that messaging going, showing that you support the community, you support other community businesses, and it helps get the word out more for them too.
Ashley, are you familiar with Facebook Marketplace?
Yes.
Okay, so is that a good option for some of the retailers out there?
I would say that within a local community, it's worth a shot. It is worth experimenting with. It's a marketplace that it tends to be more geared towards pre-owned items. But as long as the communication and the listing information adequately and appropriately describes the item as something that's new, I would say give it a shot. Absolutely. And this time, if there's another way that you can change or adapt your sales platform, try Facebook Marketplace, and see if and keep it to, a nice tight radius, of course. But and remembering too that there might be the delivery option that has to be thought about when it comes to logistics with that. But absolutely, it can be a great resource right now.
You mentioned something, and I think it might be worth mentioning again, a little separate from what you said, but now's a great time to try these different things while you have time.
Exactly.
And so, that never hurts. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Cohen mentioned earlier, there's, as a business owner, you are day in and day out thinking about the business and how you continue to grow it, and thinking about so many different facets. Marketing is just a small piece of it. And so if there is a little bit more time right now to think about and investigate and experiment with the marketing piece of things, it's a great time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So reopening, let's say, has been announced, and we're at summer and beyond. I can tell you.
Yay!
Yay! You heard it here first, people. Wait,
the number one thing that if I can impart anything in preparation for this particular moment, is as soon as that is announced by the state or by a local municipality, be ready for messages, comments, questions, and posts about when you are reopening. We personally, right now, we have a couple of clients in other states that are in various phased reopening right now that are a little bit further along than Illinois. And I can tell you that it was the business did not even post anything about their reopening plans on their social platforms. It was simply the news release went out one afternoon, and then that business was bombarded on their social platforms asking when they were going to reopen. So it's great news because people are excited to see you and want to know when they can get back in and support you the way that they were used to. But it's just really important, again, going back to that, make sure you're checking in on your social platforms, checking in to see if anybody's posted or commenting, and be prepared to respond to those. When it comes to responding, because this is all a situation that we've never been in before, as soon as that reopening is announced, it's fine to post to your social channels and say, we are so excited to see you again. We cannot wait to have our doors open. And be a little transparent about saying, we're still working on all of the details for our reopening, including our reopening date, to make sure that our team is safe and you are safe. Stay tuned, more is coming. It is completely fine to post that kind of message so that people can see that you're thinking about it, you're working through it, but that you may have some more details that you haven't necessarily locked down yet, but you're going to get that out to them as quickly as you possibly can. And two, also, if you're in a reopening situation, I would also highly recommend, let's say you are doing a little bit of marketing or you're doing some promotions that are specifically geared towards how you've adapted or pivoted your business or sales model. So you're in those campaigns or in that marketing communications, you're saying, FaceTime us or send us a Facebook Messenger video and we'll help you. Before you post that reopening, make sure that you're making any necessary changes to those campaign messages so there's not conflicting messages out there. So you're not saying on your page, hey, we're open, but then there's marketing that's out there that's saying, oh, but just send us a message or FaceTime us. It's okay. You want to make sure everything's consistent and cohesive and everything kind of goes out together. Other important thing to remember is when we get to that reopening is that even if the doors are open with limitations, you are likely going to have some customers that are not going to be comfortable going back to normal. So make sure to think about that when you're thinking about your reopening plans. and how you're communicating your reopening plans. If you're going to serve both in-store customers or within the four walls customers, or if you're going to continue to do virtual or curbside shopping as well. Think about there's various facets of different demographics that are going to handle reopening and their need and want to support local business in a different manner. So just think about that. Think about how you're messaging that, how you're communicating that, and just talk. It really, that's the most important thing. Keep the lines of communication open. Social media is a great way to do that.
So Ashley, time's flying on us right now.
Yes.
I want to make sure that we cover, I don't know what else you got in store for us, but especially some blocking and tackling. I got some questions, but blocking and tackling of what are some things online people should make sure that they're doing now and preparing for summer. So keep going, but I've got some stuff I'm definitely going to jump in and ask you, I'm sure.
All right, so keep advertising, give some peeks to new products, make sure that you're telling people how policies are changing in the store, and make sure that you've got a plan for future stay in place as well, because it's likely that we're gonna probably be looking at that maybe, sooner rather than later, but just be ready and have that, put it in a drawer and have it ready to go for the next time, so.
And I love what you said earlier about, hey, you can say, I'm still working on or whatever, because a lot of small business owners think everything they do has to be just perfect before they release it. And right now, just communicate.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a complete message, but just keep people in the loop, keep them in touch with what's going on, but start.
Exactly.
Something,
Yep, exactly. So there's other ways that we can talk about it. So Darby, would you like to go back to some of the basics?
Absolutely, and guys, if we're running low on time and we need to do the Google part of this and the other part of this and the phase 2 next week or something, let me know, but I'll start and we'll see how we go.
Gold so far, so go for it.
So far so good, okay. So back to basics. I think, we are talking about things like looking at your website, looking at your Google listing, looking at your reviews and your social channels, also being community focused, which I think, certainly Ashley talked about, but, not just socially, otherwise. So website. Do you have one? If you don't, now's a great time to start thinking about whether or not you really ought to, because I think that we all know that this is not necessarily going away, and the idea that we might have sort of minor shelter in places again in 6 months if there's a few cases at the high school or something. I think we all know that we may have like little mini quarantines that happen again in the future, and knowing how we're going to deal with those and being prepared for those is important, or just the fact that people aren't necessarily comfortable doing business the same way they were. And there are a lot of people with at-risk family members who may not be willing to necessarily go out and shop. And so if you don't have a website now, certainly you should. Google listing, can you pull up that one that we talked about, Ashley? If you can. So if you don't know what your Google listing is, Google My Business. If you simply Google your business, you're going to see that thing on the right-hand side, which says that the Sycamore Confectionery. It's going to say his phone number, his hours. If you're an administrator on yours, you should be able to change your hours on that. If you go there and you don't see a good Google My Listing, then you need to claim your business. And that is a button right on there. If you scroll down, it says Claim My Business. And when you claim it, they're going to go ahead and mail you a postcard. It's going to take about 2 weeks. You're going to get, own my business, own this business. They're going to send you a postcard. It's going to come to you in 2 weeks. It's going to give you a code. Once you have that code, you can go in and you have access to do anything you want within that listing. Change pictures, add photos, change your hours anytime. And as we're changing here, hours may be changing as we go back to business, or certainly they are now. So you want to have control over that Google My Listing, because that's where people go. By the way, Google is king. Certainly there are a lot of search engines out there. I think the last I checked, last month, Google had 91.89% of searches. So even though there's, all those other search engines, you really can focus on Google, because last month, typically they're over 90%. Last month it was 91.89%. So you don't need to worry about every search engine out there. Focus on Google.
And they actually updated it where now there's COVID-19 updates you can do when you go to claim your business. And I was able to add a few comments about us being open or an essential service. So yeah, definitely you're right. You got to claim your business and update that stuff.
Absolutely. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that. Actually, we can go back to presentation. That's good. I'm going through this very quickly because I know we only have a couple more minutes. Okay, reviews. It's also a great time to reach out to people, and you're having these relationships. You know who your best customers are now. If you didn't before, you do now, because they're the people who are still buying from you, who are buying gift cards from you, who are reaching out to you. So it's a good time to ask those people for a positive review. It makes a huge impact, not only on your reputation, but on your SEO, on sort of everything. So whether it be with Facebook or Google, I would encourage those people that you really have found to be good supporters to write a review for you right now.
And does doing that, Darby, does that help you when people are searching for whatever it is that you sell, that you might, by having a bunch of reviews, come up higher in the search, or how does that help?
Yeah, Google has a really complicated algorithm, and no one knows everything about their algorithm, right? Because if we did, we'd have every single website that we had be #1. But we know that positive reviews are an important part of their algorithm. So yes, having more reviews and good reviews help with the algorithm for sure.
And I don't know about everyone else, but anything I buy anymore, I look for reviews. So if I see a bunch of positive reviews, I'm going to go buy some chocolate from the confectionery just because of that,
Yeah, and guys, you were talking about each other's businesses and how you're trying to network with each other. It would be very easy for you to ask the businesses that you're having great relationships with to review each other.
Yep.
So it's a really good way for you to do the community focus. We have, to that point that Ashley was talking about, we have some businesses out of state. I think we're talking about the same one. We have a jewelry store who has locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And they decided to do something that was purely philanthropic and to keep their employees busy, because they wanted to keep their employees. They got one of those wonderful loans, but they did not have a bunch of people coming in the store. They couldn't have people coming in the store. So we decided to, we found this beautiful bracelet we could sell. Their hard cost, even after mailing it, was $20. They sold it online for $40 and donated $20 to the local community foundation for a COVID-19 fund. They got a ton of push from the community foundation. They got some positive press in the news, and everyone who bought that little $40 bracelet, which everyone can afford, felt great about doing business with this jeweler, who, by the way, is a jeweler that sells Rolexes and Forever Mark diamonds. They're not known for selling, sort of $40 pieces of jewelry, but they have that stuff, and they introduced a whole new group of people their business who hadn't done business with them before. So this was a great way for them to introduce their business to people who'd never done business with them, to help the community, to get some great positive support. And they ended up selling, last I've heard, they're over 300 bracelets. So they've donated over $6,000 to their local community foundation. And it's been great for them, and it's kept their employees busy. So we can go to
and it keeps top of mind out there. Now, like you said, everyone that saw that post, whether they bought the business or not, they looked at that company and thought, wow, that's really cool, and made an emotional connection to them. So when the time comes, I assume, to buy that diamond or that Rolex, let's say, they're going to remember that act of generosity, and that could be the thing that brings the customer in the door after all this is over.
And they literally said in their post that they're making zero margin. They said that our card cost after sending this is $20, and we'll be donating the remaining $20 to the community foundation. So they were really transparent. I don't know if I would recommend that level of transparency in any other situation, but again, this is not like any other situation.
Yeah.
Okay, budget allocation. So this sounds like an oxymoron. Remain flexible, but stay the course. I was thinking about that as I wrote it. So I would say if you can afford to continue to market, you should do that. But that doesn't mean you should do things the same way. Sort of example, I can think logically and say, I suspect that people are not listening to the radio right now the way that they were. They're not in their cars. They're not in groups of people where they might, the beach scenario, where everybody has the radio playing, things like that. They're not driving to work listening to the radio. But certainly people are online a lot more. So maybe we want to reallocate some of that budget towards advertising on social media specifically, or doing some Google advertising, sort of looking at different things, different ways to advertising, or to advertise. Demand is changing, but guess what? So are costs. We are getting literally buy one, get four free. Buy one, get four free. whether it be, you know, radio, TV, newspaper ads. You will still be helping them because they need the support right now, but there is a huge opportunity for you to get very, very low cost advertising right now. And if you can, again, afford to do it, and you want to continue to communicate with your messaging and your branding, this is a great time to do it. And there is great messaging to be had right now. Monitor your target audience. Is it changing? And again, what I said before about, you know, who is buying from you now, right? Because they have to communicate with you. They have to email you. They have to fill out a form. They have to call you. They're not just walking into your store when you might not be there. So really watch who that is, because you're going to want to communicate with them in the future. And I would start really thinking about creating lists of those clients, sort of who are your A, B, and C clients, who are the people who are there, so that you can start looking at email marketing to them, also basically free, right? I mean, a MailChimp account is $10 a month, if that, and you can start looking at email marketing to those people who have been really great to you during this time. How are we doing time-wise? Do we want to pick this up?
A few more minutes.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
You're good.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what we want to pay attention to. Okay, so I think the last one is really interesting. So we've been doing some research, and what we're finding is that higher income shoppers are no longer cutting their budget right now. They are spending again. So the data that we're seeing is that there's a lot of people who are being very conservative financially, but higher end shoppers are not. They are starting to shop again, and they're starting to spend some money again. So don't be afraid to ask for the big dollars, as long as you're doing it tastefully. Pay close attention to trends. When are people calling? When are they emailing? When are you visiting their website? You know, again, Cohen was talking about a particular retailer. There's a retailer that has always been open very early. They've been open at 8 a.m. typically. And I'm in the habit of going there, you know, stopping on my way to work and getting what I need to get. They're never open at 8 a.m. now. They've changed their hours completely. And I'm not sure that is serving their customers very well. So I would say watch your phone calls, watch your emails, and see when those people are calling you. And you might want to consider, again, pivoting those hours to serve the people based on their needs, not what you think their needs are. So look at the data.
Yeah, and listen, right? That's part of the data. Just listen to what people, if someone's calling and asking, hey, can I come by at 8 and pick something up? They may not be the only one that want to come by at 8 o'clock. So
Right.
It's always worth listen really hard to what people are saying, what they're asking you, because that may be an opportunity to adjust the way you do business to serve people now that things are different.
Yeah, and you may not have wanted to forward your work phone number to your home cell number before, but you might want to now. You might want to be willing to take calls any time of the day, or reasonably speaking, the night, if a customer is trying to call your business. You might be willing to stop by and help them out.
Right now, I think a lot of small businesses will take calls at 2 a.m.
Right.
If anything right now.
If you're not forwarding your phone, call Verizon, figure out how to do that, because it's not hard. Forward it to your phone and start being able to do that. Focus on higher margin items, right? And items that you have a lot of. So if you're going to do a social media post like Ashley talked about, and you're going to do a video, and you're going to talk about this nifty birdhouse that you have and what a great Mother's Day gift is, don't do that if you have 3 of them. So look at items that are going to be a high margin item and that you have a high volume of inventory on, and kind of think about that. The perfect example is the $40 bracelet. I can buy those as I need them. I can get 400 of them. That's going to be great. You don't want to necessarily push a one-of-a-kind item right now, because it's one of a kind. Go ahead. All right, situational awareness. This sounds ridiculous. We don't want to say things like killer deals. Be careful of your phrasing, right? Yeah. Very easy to offend now. I would also say, be very careful about how you communicate the rules in your store and how people are going to follow them. A lot of drive-thrus right now are getting some really negative social media flack because they're requiring people to wear a mask in the drive-thru. That is completely reasonable, and certainly not saying that they should not do that. I think that that's a great policy, but people aren't aware. They didn't make people aware ahead of time. They're thinking, if I'm not going into the store, I don't have to wear a mask. So if you expect people to wear a mask at a pickup, make sure that they know that when you email them or when you call them. So if you're doing curbside and you expect them to have a mask on for that curbside pickup, make sure they know. Again, avoid going dark. Make sure that you're visible right now. Adjust your imaging or adjust your messaging. And again, look at the big picture, because this is a moment. It's a blip in time, and it is scary and it is awful, and we all know that, but we have to look at what's going to be happening in 2 or 3 months, because this is going to end. And we don't want to have to reinvent ourselves because people completely forgot, because we fell off the face of the earth for the last 3 months.
So question for you, and maybe you could elaborate on it, but like, one, the going dark thing, absolutely quit going dark. There are so many small businesses out there that I've gone to your social media pages and it's crickets for the last 3 weeks. You got to do something. So that's absolutely huge. But also, like you mentioned, it's all going to end. But what do you think? Do you think it's all going to end? It's all going to end, and the way you used to do business and the way you used to communicate before all this, you can go back to just that exact same thing? Or have things change where it's going to be different the way we communicate now going forward? And maybe you were going to cover that, but I'm really curious.
That's great. It's great. And that's where I was talking about. If you don't have a website, you're going to have to. If you haven't developed your social media, you're going to have to. There are, I think a lot of us have family members or loved ones who are immunocompromised and who are not going to be going into stores. I'm not walking into a box store anytime in the foreseeable future. I have somebody immunocompromised in my home. And so I would be very careful, and I'll still be doing a lot more online shopping, which is kind of our point. As much as it's time to look at a website, it might also be time to look at e-commerce platforms. If we think that we're going to see these kinds of events happening again, if we're going to have mini closures, and even if not mini closures, if we end up with 5 or 6 or 7 cases in a town or a high school in 3 months from now, we know that people are going to shelter in place on their own, whether they're required to or not. And you need to be able to serve those customers. So it's a really good time to look at the big picture and say, I have some time now. Maybe it's time that we build that website. Maybe it's time that we make that website have a great e-commerce platform. The confectionery did that recently. We worked with them to make their site, to add Shopify to that, to make it an e-commerce site. And they have done exceptionally well throughout this whole process because people have been able to buy online. And the timing was just incredibly fortunate for them because it launched shortly before all of this happened. So they were able to serve their customers for Mother's Day and for Valentine's Day and for all of those events without having to pivot because they already planned ahead. So I think planning ahead and thinking about the fact that Cohen is right. This is not something that I think most of us don't think that it's going to end. Most of us realize that this is going to continue for months, if not years.
And even if it did, I think people have just changed.
Right.
They're just gonna shop and engage differently because people have adopted technology now. They were forced to, and now the comfort level's gone up, and I think they're gonna expect that out of businesses. An online presence, constant communication, as well as different options to shop. Darby, if you got any parting thoughts, we definitely got to wrap this up. Anything else, or Ashley, that you wanted to communicate that we might not have touched on right now?
Owen, can I make one point?
Yeah, definitely, John.
Thank you, because you were, talking so much, I wasn't able to get a word in edgewise.
We're trying.
Towards Darby's point, I really think we need to meet customers where they want to be met. And Ashley touched upon this when she said, some people aren't going to want to come into stores. So we need to meet them where they want to be met, whether that's a website, whether that's a chat button, whether that's a phone call, whether that's out in the parking lot. I mean, we really need to be conscious of that. So that was my only point. Thank you and good night.
It was gold, John. Gold.
Really quick before they wrap up, Vicki had a really good question in the beginning. If you're doing video or even pictures and you have customers or guests in it, do you need to get their permission before you post them?
Yes, absolutely.
And is that an easy thing? Can they just say, you have my permission?
They should sign a release.
Sign a release.
Yes, sign a release.
You can find a general social media release just by Googling.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, parting thoughts, you two?
think,
All
yeah,
right.
just continue to be out there. Make sure that if you've got questions, don't hesitate to call. You're welcome to call Ashley or myself. I think that I think social is right now the easiest, least expensive. And also, what are you doing? What is everybody doing? Have you guys looked at your phone? Do you get the reports on how much time you spend on your phone now?
Yeah.
Like, it's
That's,
absurd. I won't even tell you what mine says because it's embarrassing.
I won't either.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. I would never show it to anyone, but that should tell you that the people are all over social media right now. And if you're missing this, it's almost an opportunity. I know that it's easy to look at the downside of all of this and the depressing side of this, but if you look at social media and your ability to grow and learn and present your business on social media right now, it's almost an opportunity because people have never been as engaged in social media as they are today.
An interesting statistic, just from February 29th of this year to the 1st of April, Facebook's average daily users was up 27%.
Yeah, and the stat I saw, they have 2.6 billion
Yes.
active users right now.
Yep.
So yes, you need to get on social media. You need to keep it current, and that's a way you're going to be able to communicate with a majority of the listeners.
Come on, I lied. I do have one other point, and both
here we go.
Darby and Ashley have said this before. It's about getting your target audience, making sure that's who you're going to, and talking to your current customers, because they're going to be the easiest people who are going to embrace you moving forward. So you really can't overlook that. I call it fish where the fish are, because I don't like to fish. I like to catch. So if I'm someplace that I'm fishing, I'm not getting anything, I don't enjoy it. But that was the point I think they both made.
All right, everyone. I want to thank Darby Dwyer and Ashley Mercia for just coming on today and sharing everything. That was fantastic. You guys just dedicated an hour of your time. Means a lot to me. It means a lot to all of us that you would take the time to do that. They are with Morningstar Media Group. I'm sure you can pick up the phone. You can Google them. You're going to find their Google business. You'll be able to call them right away. And I'm sure they'll just have a conversation and some questions that you have. They're a local business just like we all are, and they're here to help. Despite whether you're a customer or not. So thank you too, absolutely. A reminder to everyone, DeKalbCountyUnites.com. Please go there, find the information you want. You can contact us, literally ask us anything, and we'll track down a resource for you to get the answer that you want. All our previous webinars, including this one, are gonna be listed there, so you'll be able to find that. Share it out to anyone that you think would have value to it, which is pretty much any small business needs to learn and hear about what we talked about today. Other than that, I hope to see you all here Friday at 2 p.m. We've got our small business spotlight, which I'm really excited about. You can register on DeKalbCountyUnites.com for that webinar. Other than that, I want you all to stay healthy. I want you to enjoy what's left of this beautiful day and have a wonderful one. And I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks again, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.